Hello, good day everyone. I am Riza Godinez and together with my group mates, we will report sustaining the effects of bilingual instruction. So first, what is bilingual education? So there is an educational policy about language use in which two languages are employed to instruct students in the same subject. There are numerous models of bilingual education that can be used based on the purpose that is being pursued, with the additive and subtractive models being the most prevalent. And when students participate in additive bilingual education programs, both languages are treated equally and are given the same level of importance and recognition. So both languages are taught and learned in a systematic manner throughout the years of schooling, with the ultimate goal for students being the development of literacy and communication skills in both languages. Next, we'll discuss the theory underlying opposition to bilingual education. So I am using the term theory in a somewhat loose sense to refer to sets of propositions with respect to minority students' language learning and academic achievement that are principal empirically testable. So there are three such propositions that will be highlighted. So first, the claim that time on task is the major variable underlying language learning and hence immersion in English is the most effective means to ensure the learning of English. Second, the claim that under these conditions of immersion, language minority students will quickly, within 1 to 2 years, pick up sufficient English to survive academically without further special support. Then, lastly, the claim that English immersion should start as early as possible in the students' school career, since younger children are better language learners than older children. Next is the theory proposed by bilingual education advocates. So it is important first to highlight the fact that most bilingual education theorists have distanced themselves from the popular conception of the rationale for bilingual programs, namely the linguistic mismatch hypothesis. This position suggests that a home school language, which or linguistic mismatch, will inevitably lead to academic difficulties, since children cannot learn through a language they do not understand. So the next part of the report will be discussed by my group mates.
Good day, everyone. I am Rona G.V. Danlayan, and I'm going to report about the effects of bilingualism. There is considerable evidence that the acquisition of two or more languages entails positive consequences for metalinguistic developments. So, the relationship between first language or L1 and second language or L2, there is considerable evidence of interdependence of literacy related or academic skills across languages. The better developed children's L1 conceptual foundation, the more likely they are to develop similarly high levels of conceptual abilities in their L2. The moderate to strong correlation between academic skills in L1 and L2 suggests that L1 and L2 abilities are manifestation of a common underlying proficiency. The three theoretical assumptions on which the resistance to bilingual education is built are directly reputed by this result. Students who are immersed in English do not learn the language any faster than those in bilingual programs, and early intensive exposure to English appears to be less effective than a more gradual introduction to English academic skills, while studying, all of which point to an inverse relationship between time on task of academic development in English. Next is the alternative perspective consistency with the findings of Bromry's investigation. According to Bromry's study, as discussed elsewhere in this issue, contrasted Latino elementary school students children in three sorts of programs: the English immersion, which entails throughout primary school, the English is nearly exclusively used, Spanish was employed for around one-third of the time, and this early exit bilingual. Students were quickly moved into predominantly English instruction at the conclusion of grade 2 in one of the study 3 late exit program, which was an exception to this pattern. In other words, the implementation of this late exit program was comparable to that of the early exit program. Students in the immersion and early exit programs were tracked from kindergarten to grade 3, while those in the late exit program were divided into two groups, or the K3 and 3-6. To put it in another way, they are least likely to fall farther behind academically. They do not, however, bridge the gap between first and third grade in any major way. Students in the immersion approach program did not leave the program any faster than students in the early exit program. These findings are in line with the findings of other enrichment and two-way bilingual programs, demonstrating that there is no direct link between extensional time spent in the majority language and academic achievement in that language. The majority of research implies that exposure to English education and English achievement for the students. In conclusion, the educational validity of strongly encouraging literacy as an effective means of overall educational attainment for language minority kids has been shown by the Ramri's report. The attention to the hidden curriculum that operates in the education of language minority to the students. Then, the educators embrace rule descriptions that accept rather than challenge the prevailing societal power structure and the circumstances for the student and the community environment that are not present. The existing institution of language minority education, or the curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment procedures, are explicitly structured to inhibit the growth of student voice. And lastly, the bilingualism deflect attention away from the immense socioeconomic injustice that have occurred, and the curriculum has been sanitized and student expression of identity has been suppressed. The challenges of the educators who wants to be more the cogs in the social reproduction wheel is to create learning environments that expand rather than limit students' opportunities and their knowledge, to highlight rather than hide the society's historical and current power and resource dimensions. Thank you for listening.